Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome back to From the Depths Let's Build, where we're continuing on with our big plasma canoe, and multiple things. First thing we're doing is changing the rounds to be pure kinetic as opposed to APHE that's too small, and secondly, I recorded this ages ago. I remember most of what happened, but not really everything, and so apologies for that. I should have put this out much sooner, and that just didn't happen because I've been busy with study and job applications and just, I guess, life in general. I voted today. For the love of butterscotch pudding. If you live somewhere where you can vote safely, you should do that. But anyway, back to the canoe. This Sea Whiz is pretty decent. If it can eat all the fire from a palisade without breaking a sweat, that's generally a good thing. There's things I try here that I may or may not stick with, and immediately I've got the problem that I have a recurring problem with this, and it's probably because I build ships really compact, or just that effective components for ships in general are just really heavy. My ships have trouble staying afloat if I, well, use any amount of heavy armor, it seems. But anyway, we've got a secondary AI going here, just so the APS and the plasma doesn't shoot at the same things, because the APS is firing supercavitation shells, so it can shoot at things below water, and the plasma is plasma, so it absolutely should not shoot at anything below water. And this is the point where we just go and check our Patreon and see who deserves to be mentioned. Who should be forever immortalized in the AI name. And this is times 2 speed, and this has taken a while. I do not read fast, and apparently don't make decisions fast. You look at my most recent video where I try adventure mode again for the first time in a long time, well, that sums that up quite nicely, doesn't it? But yeah, so we're just, I guess, carrying on with this in much the same order we can get. Definitely not finished. I managed to get it like up and moving and do its first real combat test. But yeah, a bunch of other things need to happen first. First off, I do like these turrets. I like how flat they are. I think they look quite sci-fi and quite good. The exposed mantlets are, I don't know, they're arguably not my best move. In fact, not even arguably, they're not really a good move at all. So yeah, just having to do this. So I keep finding myself when building is like, I do a thing and then I do another thing and I'm like, oh dang it, I should have done the other thing. And then, yeah, it's a problem. So yeah, that's where I'm at these days. I'm doing the same thing over and over again. So save the vehicle, we've got AI1, AI2, I need to figure out how to make this up. I do end up, and to my shame, my eternal shame, this thing needs up props to stay at a reasonable height in the water, and I'm not a fan of that. I could have just said bugger it and swapped out all the heavy armor for something lighter, but the annoying thing is that past a certain, I guess, cost of vehicle, just, if you want to keep it compact, you kind of have to use heavy armor, weirdly enough. Life is hard. Life is so hard, and then you die. That was depressing. But anyway, so here is where the real experimentation is going, because, as Gmodism would probably be happy to tell you, direct input Sea Whiz is king when it comes to dealing with giant shells, particularly cram shells. But I, for this build, wanted to use an alternative that actually someone mentioned in a video premiere in the chat of one of those. Short-range missile interceptors, which is basically just a whole bunch of medium interceptors with short-range thrusters set to a short range, and then they kind of just, well, something big gets close, you let it rip, and it can actually do a pretty decent job at, like, deleting big cram volleys, which is very, very nice. That's what we like to see. The problem is getting the friggin' interceptors to aim at the correct thing, which is, something I have trouble with here. I have no idea what's going wrong. Spoiler alert, I kind of give up on this in this video. Well, not entirely. The interceptor systems remain, but I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with it because it seems to be tweaking the CWIS settings as much as possible, and it still stubbornly, the interceptors go for things I don't want them to go for, because I want them to always shoot the things which are close, and I mess with the settings so much, and yet, they will, you know, bugger off into the middle distance and aim for things I don't care about. So, I don't know, I possibly need to tweak a lot of settings. But, however, I do like how this ends up looking at the very least. I am very much a fan of wedges, and using wedges absolutely everywhere, because wedges are delicious even when they're not made of potato. They're delicious in From the Depths. Do not eat the missile interception system. It probably does not taste good. And here's another example of me doing a thing and then immediately thinking, I hate that, I must do it differently. And what's happening here? What is happening here? You are trying to make the turret pretty, you damn fool. It's a fool's errand. It's a ferrand, a fool's errand. So yeah, this is possibly the best back of turret I could improvise while streaming. Not streaming, recording. It's different. I've streamed on Twitch too much, clearly. By which I mean once a week. Anyway, that looks good, and yes, this is basically the superstructure. A lot of people in the last video were saying, like, dude, you should absolutely, like, just stick the superstructure just on the main turret. And yep, that is the plan. So, once again, I think that looks funny, so then I do it differently, and then I immediately go back to what I did first, because it looks funny. And yeah, that's basically where we're at now. So this, this is arguably not a great way to do things, simply because these interceptors are exposed, and I find out the hard way in combat testing later that, yeah, if you stick up stuff like this from a turret, it gets hit. It gets hit fairly predictably, actually, so not actually my best move. I should have actually just done something similar to what I usually do, which is kind of just stick, you know, interceptors on the side of the turrets, and I might still do that, except you stick too many interceptors on your thing, it gets too expensive, and you need more ammo, and just, why is building things so hard? I just actually watched an Armorcast video, just talking about, you know, future, like, you know, tanks and stuff like that, and it's really hard to design anything that shoots or gets shot at. And this is where the problems begin. You can see that about half of those interceptors ignored the cram cannons pretty much, and it immediately went for, you know, the huge missiles, which I don't actually, like, care about. That's not their the interceptors, that's not their job. They're meant to be dealing with stuff that gets close, but the friggin' missiles were a zillion miles away and counting. And once again, took out some crams, but not enough. Very annoying indeed. I think at the end, like, I just need to basically just, I don't even know, man. I need to just keep messing with it, and I might need to mess with it off camera. Let me know if you want me to keep trying to mess with the interceptor settings on camera or off camera. Yeah, it could be a problem. Yeah, like, it's like, the CWIS is fiddly. Like, you just gotta keep fiddling with it until... I think, actually, the problem is ignore outside projectile diameter, because a lot of the crams on the Stronghold are not max gauge, so that could be a problem with using the Stronghold as a test. Honestly, I should get rid of absolutely everything except, you know, the distance restrictions. And possibly cluster size. So, yeah. Should try that. Should really try that. And once again... You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Except it's not quite the same thing, it's just mostly the same thing, because I'm just messing with this friggin' CWIS controller. CWIS sounds funny if you say it out loud. It sounds like you're peeing in the sea. I'm going for a sea whiz. Zip. I am a mature human being with a mature sense of humor. And if you disagree, well, I'll sea whiz you later. I'm not even sure what that means. That could be construed as threatening in a way that's disgusting. Okay, so missile interceptor, prefer sea whiz control. I don't remember this works. It kind of works, it kind of doesn't. And just checking that again. Type of projectile. I believe that... Huh. Maybe I did set it to that, yes. I think it's actually the whatchamacallit, the other thing. So yeah, once again, it's not working. Part of the, if nothing else, this is a great example of how having giant missiles can serve as very good distractions for cram volley, simply because munition won't see the missiles and there's the first successful test, and it took out the missiles anyway, so that was very, very nice. And I believe the stronghold gets one more volley off. No, never mind, it doesn't. So at this point I'm like, yep, you know what, good enough, we'll roll with that for now, because sometimes the defense industry, or the offense industry as I like to call it, because it is actually that as well, sometimes it's about saying, well, bugger it, that'll do. It's not a good place to be in, but that's how it does. So anyway, now I'm going to stick all the passive sonars all in this roughly the same place for basically no reason whatsoever except coolness, because, you know, wireless transmitters, you don't even need to stick them in a, you know, near each other like this. You just don't have to, and yet I do that very thing. Ah, dear. Oh dear. Building's hard. Commentating on building's hard. I ticked 2 boxes on a voting ballot, and apparently that's drained me of all energy. So anyway, we've got 3 of these little things in here. Passive sonars are actually great. They're wonderfully versatile little things. Oh, spoiler alert! I'm building these little rubber wedges in the wrong place. Which reminds me, even though I've been a naughty boy and haven't been recording as much as I potentially could be, because for those of you wondering, recording when you're absolutely tired or stressed is not a very good idea. Crap, and the interceptors still don't do the job they're supposed to. And this is just testing whether we can take out the Stronghold's torpedoes. And yeah, we can. Perhaps not enough, though, is the thing. Yay! It also is kind of annoying that sometimes the Sea-Whiz doesn't go for the things I want them to. The plasma gun, however, does a wonderful job just tearing through stuff. And you know what's annoying? I actually wanted this thing to be ready in time to, like, you know, like put it through a campaign. You know, the Caravonian campaign, the Caravonian Rebellion, which is what I'm live streaming at the moment. Well, it's for me, it's Saturdays 8 AM. That's GMT plus 13. I have no idea how that translates to most of the world. It's the evening for Americans, and I'm not sure what it is for Europeans, or honestly, you know, the link to me Twitch is in the description, and hopefully Twitch is smart enough to friggin' tell you what the time zone actually is for you. I am not sure how smart Twitch is these days, because my streams keep cutting out, because apparently being in the South Pacific, away from literally all of humanity, is bad for latency. Who would have thought? Or maybe Twitch is just being annoying. Anyway, more superstructure. That looks terrible, so we're not going to do that. We're going to do something different that hopefully looks a lot better. Because them's the rules, damn it. So yeah, we've got this thing, this, I'm just looking at this thinking, this doesn't look right, and this doesn't look right, and I should probably, yep, thank you, do something better than that, thank you very please. I should stick to making hydrofoils, man. I should just, you know, turn this thing into a hover tank and, you know, because of, like, here's my rules, so to speak. Well, not a rule, it's a guideline. If your ship requires, you know, the expenditure of, like, power, if it requires up props in order to stay afloat, you might as well make it an airship, because, you know, you might as well just make it fly. So, yeah, that's what I think every time I see a ship, including my own, that requires up props. I'm like, man, you could just replace those with jet engines and have the stupid thing fly. Or just, you know, duct tape a helicopter blade to the top of it. I've been doing that occasionally. It's great fun. I've done that to the Bulwark and the Plunderer now, and it's just so fun. Well, it's silly in the sense that it goes fly now, but also it is an incredibly effective way of making it suddenly much more useful as a combat vehicle, because suddenly it's immune to torpedo. That friggin' ice cream van. I'm not sure if you can hear that. You almost certainly can hear that. I wish it would shut up. I mean, I'm fine with people getting ice cream, I guess, if you want to be fat. I'm not shaming anyone, but if you eat ice cream, like, statistically speaking, you're more likely to be fat. Sorry, that was mean. It's the ice cream van that's put me in such a mood. But anyway, yeah, so engine compartment, I'm officially the laziest man in the world when it comes to engines these days. Just, you know, I stick a thing with no ejectors and full radiators just in there because I do not care. I am a bad example to the new players, to the From the Depths youth. I'm a poor influence. From the Depths parents try to warn their kids about me, and I guess I'm not sure who they are in this analogy, but yeah. Also, let's see if we can... Yep, right here I've realized... Oh, crap, I put the friggin... No, I haven't realized yet. I'm looking right at it. I'm looking right at it. Are you going to see it, past BorderWise? Alright, so here's where I try something. I try to basically combine the up props and roll props, and here's the thing, that never works well. You really do require like a full-blown PID for that kind of thing. And it has literally never worked out for me. Like, it's like, always, I end up just going for control surfaces that, like, each one has one job and just does that one job, and that just works so much better. Alright, so we're gonna use bread, because bread is lovely, and so here we have bread. Feel free to screen cap this if you need to, and you can immediately see that we're kind of just... You know, we're gonna need to mess with red. So this is the problem with combining your roll and up, is because, well, you just end up doing a crap job at either by the looks of it. Like, there are ways of making this work. I'm not entirely sure how they are. In this particular case, it has not worked out very well. Perhaps tweaking the PID a bit more could work. But it's just like, yeah, nah, bugger this, mate. Okay, any second, past me is gonna realize that his shiny little, that his little rubber sticks on the bottom, protecting the passive sonar from a land collision. Any moment he's gonna realize that that's not what is happening. Incidentally, I have I think I started saying this earlier and just got sidetracked. Yeah, so this works quite a bit better just in terms of... Alright, finally! Oh, that was driving me nuts. That was driving present me, future me nuts. Just not doing that. That's irrelevant, really, but just, I don't know, I guess it helps with drag. So yeah, officially at this point, I should turn this thing into an airship, but I guess I don't. Oh dear. Or I could just convert all the metal to alloy and hope for the best. That's not a smart idea either. It just isn't, because that's a very expensive form of armor. It's just heavy armor and alloy. It's effective armor, but yeah, it's not efficient armor. I believe, who was it? Brenzo, while he was building the Ragnarok 2022, it was experimenting with various armors, and that's the armor, that's essentially the Citadel armor around the AI, is just 8 meters of alloy and a layer of heavy armor. That is pretty effective, but yes, it's very expensive. It's just costs so much. But it does float, though, and it does take a hit pretty well. So now this thing is actually less slow in the water, I guess, but it is, like, kind of moving at 3 meters per second, which is irritating, because, You want it to stay perfectly still when it's not moving. And this is the point where we decide, right, azipods. That's the whole idea behind this. Why are these azipod things made of alloy? I don't know. I just work here. I don't know what past me was thinking. Past me is sometimes a genius, but usually not. Okay, so prepare for the weirdest and possibly ugliest azipods you've ever seen in your life. Like, really. Avert thy gaze. Avert thy heterosexuals too. Okay, please don't cancel me for that joke. I don't think it was offensive, I just think it was very, very stupid. Very stupid indeed. And past me is engaging the thinky think, is doing that thing with the brain that sometimes works out and sometimes does not, doing the thinky. And prefab. Are you going to remember to do that? Nope. So this was me thinking, like, hang on, can I do stuff? What do I want to do? I want lots of props. So that, and there we go. And some of that, yes please. So yeah, this is already going to be some pretty funky props. It's like Funko Pops, but funkier, and they're props, not pops. Do not confuse the two. Try and pop a prop, you will have to stop. Try and prop a pop, you will have no choice but to stop because you won't go anywhere. I think I've reached the twilight zone of what my brain can do. Okay, so past BorderWise, you're gonna have to do your best to make this interesting because present BorderWise might need a nap and a cup of tea. Not in that order. Speaking of soothing the throat, I'm going to just take a sip from the water bottle, which is lovely and insulated and made of, I don't know what this is made of. Well, it is made in China, so that's where it was made. I believe it is aluminium, multiple layers, insulated, and I almost broke my elbow on it the other day because I was jogging down a hill. It was in my backpack. It swung around, got me right in the funny bone, and it hurt for about 24 hours. So, if you got a metal water bottle, be sure to stow it in your backpack in a way that won't hurt you. Learn from my mistakes because by gum, you know, it hurts otherwise. So yeah. Right, so these are the ugliest aziprops you've ever seen in your life. It is combining the above water abilities of the custom props with the in-water power of the regular props, and I think this is the point where I'm just like, you know what, dude, you've got to replace this with metal because that makes sense. It goes below the water, and I think that is just what I do instead. Whee! So yeah, like I actually am kind of fond of these azipods. They're weird. This is a weird azipod. It is weird as heck. Doop. And almost failed to capture the entire aziprop. And angle control and just making sure that the thing turns the correct way. And then I immediately have to do that. Is like, what are you doing? Otherwise, what are you doing? I'm trying to remember what the hell. What the hell? Oh, that's what the hell you're doing. You are doing stuff. Alright, there's a heavy armor beam in there. Why not? This thing already has enough trouble moving. Let me know if you reckon that's too ugly and needs to be changed. This, what I'm about to do, I don't know what possessed me because this is ugly and this doesn't even need to be here. I don't know why I did this. I genuinely don't know why I did this. It just occurred to me. It came to me in a fever dream. Because you know, a wedge obsession can be taken too far. What the hell are you doing? You freaking weirdo. I don't know why that's there. That looks funny. That looks funny, haha, weird. And we're still drifting to the side because bad PIDs. Ugh! Ugh! I love and hate this thing in equal measure. But now we're gonna have an actual combat test. This thing is not finished, by the way. Like, the whole idea is that you can... the whole idea is there's gonna be more of this. It does go decently fast, though. I think in a straight line it has a top speed of, like, over 40 meters per second. And I think at this point I just swap out the pitch control for, you know, something else, because the props weren't doing much, frankly. I think I swap out the roll props as well. So, same thing. And we're going to set the resting angle to that, so the thing can get its nose up out of the water. Whee! Yep, that's better. And this thing goes like stink. It's not bad. And I think I just missed. I just saw now that maybe the roll props aren't actually set up correctly. Which doesn't matter because I'm about to remove them, apparently. So now we're going to just do that. And we're just going to do that as well. Set a little bit of an idle angle. And stop, and this is the point where I believe it occurred to me that, dude, you need more fuel. You don't have enough fuel. Turns out we have a lot of engine power. Like, I forget, like, just how strong the radiating Riley is when you stack it up like that, because no space is wasted on exhaust. So yeah, it's decently strong. We have enough room for fun and activities involving things like lambs and heat decoys. And now we're combat testing against the stronghold, of course. I think the first volley whiffed entirely. And we actually have trouble dealing with the torpedoes for some reason. I don't know why that is. And that's really annoying, because whenever the stronghold hits you with a torpedo, it's the kind of insult that you gotta take personally. And yeah, I need to change those friggin' interceptor settings to be just more sensible. The stronghold is more expensive than our plasma canoe right now, because I think at this point I'm like, what the absolute hell are you doing? And I think, yeah, it does help that yeah, but I don't know. I think I was getting kind of frustrated at this point. It's like, can you please just do what I want you to? Never mind if I don't do what I tell you to do, don't... Alright, the other problem is that the bloody plasma turret, the first thing it does is shoot the forward APS turret in their head. Which is annoying. Okay. And for whatever reason... Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, I don't know why this is. Like, when the thing was stationary, it was dealing with the... dealing with the torpedoes just fine. But now, apparently not. And that makes me sad. That makes me a sad panda. And I'm gonna... I would chew on bamboo, but I don't have any right here. And also, I don't want to chew on bamboo. So, that does it. So, it's definitely still some work to do. Let me know if you want me to do kind of just, you know, tweaking of settings, like on or off camera. Because, you know, it's not the most exciting thing to see. So let me know, and yeah, that just about does it for this, by the looks of it. What do I end up doing here? I think... Yeah, I think it just dropped that down a little bit. And definitely gonna get rid of the friggin', like, delicious wedges on the side there. I can at the very least make them smaller. So this is now testing against an Erie, and this is a pretty... This combat test goes fairly well. Except for the missile interceptors getting blown off, because of course they do. Incidentally, I'm really starting to this annoys me so much. The interceptors literally did not do the one thing they're supposed to do. They literally flew past cramshells that immediately, like, destroyed us. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to do a fair amount of tweaking. Also, I believe that both the APS and the plasma is aiming for hot blocks, so I feel like kind of an idiot for it not occurring to me sooner, but against things like the Erie, against the Empyrean, against the Pyre, aiming for the hot blocks means you take up the custom jets and the thing falls in the ocean, so honestly, aiming for hot blocks is my new default because it's just so good. And the Erie is pretty much done, and we're pretty much done. And yeah, that just about does it for this video right here. So yeah, thank you for being patient with me. It's been a while since I've loaded the last episode of this. But hopefully, now that life has settled down a little bit, I should be able to record content a little bit more frequently, or at least I can hopefully find time for it. So, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps, and there's fun perks in it for you. Thank you to all my current supporters, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. Let's build. Farewell.